Welcome to How Learning Works with Kristen D. Today we will explore some learning principles, all based on research, which can help improve your teaching. Throughout this presentation, we will focus on each learning principle and techniques you can use to become a better teacher. The first learning principle is in regards to a student's prior knowledge. A student's prior knowledge can help or hinder learning. Prior knowledge means all of those thoughts and beliefs that the student has picked up throughout their life. Prior knowledge can be good or bad. If prior knowledge is accurate, then it is good because it gives a solid foundation for learning new things. There are three types of bad prior knowledge that hinder learning, and they are insufficient, inaccurate, and inappropriate. Insufficient prior knowledge is when the base isn't enough to build upon. Inappropriate prior knowledge ties in with the fact that information is contextual. When put into the wrong context, this can interfere with the learning process. Inaccurate prior knowledge basically means that the prior knowledge is wrong. These are some things that an educator needs to watch for and course correct as needed. So, how can we use prior knowledge to our advantage in helping others learn? There are a number of strategies that help teachers effectively work with prior knowledge in the classroom. In order to do this, you have to know what prior knowledge your students will need to be successful in your class. Then, determine a way to measure the student's prior knowledge. This could be done by giving a pretest to gauge how much the students know coming in. You could also have students create a concept map, giving you insight into how much they already know. Once you have measured prior knowledge, your next step is to activate prior knowledge that is accurate or correct. There are many ways to activate a student's prior knowledge, such as using analogies to everyday life, or relating the new material back to the foundational principles. Instead of just teaching that 1 + 1 = 2, you can relate it back to a real-life scenario. For example, Fido has one bone, and you give him another bone. How many bones does Fido have? 2. And that concludes the section on how prior knowledge can help or hinder learning. Next, the way learners organize information in their brain directly correlates to the learning and knowledge retrieval process. This is the second learning principle. As educators, we can help students organize knowledge in a meaningful way. First, we need to determine how we have the information organized in our heads. One way to do this is to create a concept map to understand how you organize the knowledge. For those that may not be familiar with a concept map, it is a graphic tool used to organize and represent knowledge. Creating the concept map allows you to analyze the objectives, or what you want them to be able to do, and construct the information in a way that helps students organize knowledge as they are learning. Once again, this is important because the way we organize information drives how we perform. The third learning principle is that a student's level of motivation directly correlates to how hard they will try and what they will do to learn. To help students see value, tie the material back to real life and make it interesting. Similar to the Fido example, set challenging but realistic goals, starting with small assignments that help build confidence, and then work your way up. The same thing goes with educating others. Do not push too hard, as that may have the opposite effect and discourage them from trying. The fourth learning principle is that in order to fully grasp a subject, students not only have to learn the skills and theory, but also must practice putting them together and know when and how to put the skills to use. Think about teaching someone to drive. They learn all of the basics separately, then have to know when to shift, when to check their blind spot, when to use the blinker, windshield wipers, and so on. The fifth and last learning principle I will discuss ties in with hands-on experience as it couples goal-oriented practice with feedback as critical components to learning. A basketball player cannot just practice free throws alone, they need feedback as well. A coach can provide goal-directed practice by setting expectations about practice, letting the student know how much time and effort is needed to be successful. Also important when giving feedback is that we balance strengths and weaknesses. It's often a good idea to give feedback at the group level. For example, the coach may give a talk to the whole team about common errors that she has observed. Thank you for viewing this presentation. I hope you have found the information beneficial and can apply it to help make you a better teacher, trainer, parent, or any other role that involves helping others learn.